On July 11th, 2025, a TikToker named Gigi Jarvis, who goes by the handle Not Gigi Jarvis, posted a video with the caption, "Starting a cult day 1." In this video, she says, and I quote, "I'm starting a cult and I want you all to be a part of it."
I'm starting a cult and you guys are all going to be a part of it.
She then introduced a quirky idea called Victim of the Week, where she would pick a follower's photo from the comments, steal their profile picture, and become them for a week.
The first thing I want to start doing is Victim of the Week, where whoever drops the funniest photo in my comment section, I'm going to steal your profile picture and become you for a whole week.
Sounded like a silly, satirical game, right? And it gained traction fast. Within 5 days, her video racked up over 1.9 million views and 260,000 likes. Gigi's followers quickly latched onto the idea, and soon a comment suggesting the name Children of the Waning Star became the official title of this so-called cult. Fans of the cult started adding the thumbprint and star emojis to their TikTok usernames, creating a sense of community. By July 13th, Gigi officially adopted the name and a follow-up video that got over 111,000 likes in just 3 days.
Congratulations, we have officially named our cult Children of the Waning Star, or CWS for short.
At this point, it just seemed like a fun, interactive trend, almost like a role-playing game or an ARG. But things very quickly took a turn. What started as a lighthearted joke began to spiral out of control. Some of Gigi's followers took the cult concept way too seriously. Reports started surfacing on TikTok and other platforms like Reddit and X about disturbing behaviors amongst cult members. For example, some users claimed that members of the Children of the Waning Star were engaging in bloodletting rituals, carving symbols into their bodies, and even sacrificing animals to meet the entity of the Waning Star. While this originally seemed like mass hysteria or a case of TikTok blowing a few rage bait posts very far out of proportion, I was actually able to find multiple cases of self-harm and psychosis posted to TikTok using the cult hashtag within 10 minutes of scrolling. These included images of the symbol carved into minors' flesh, and videos of seemingly very young and mentally ill creators sharing their hallucinations, while members of the cult encouraged and solidified it in the comments, stating that they should just give in and accept the entity that they were scared of. Let me be clear here. Though a lot of these TikToks sharing dangerous actions of this cult are just allegations, we don't really have concrete evidence of widespread harm, but the fact that these claims are circulating at all is alarming. One TikToker, The Real Liberty Bell, posted a video that got over 30,000 likes, calling out the group for romanticizing cults and warning about bloodletting.
Guys, I only have a few minutes until my therapy session, so I'm just gonna get this out quick. Children of the Waning Star cult thing needs to fucking stop. It is genuinely spiraling out of control. Your leader is encouraging, like, really bad shit. I've been noticing, like, people have been, like, saying in the comments, like, oh, I've offered, BLOOD offerings. No. See, I'm a pagan witch. I do not fuck with that. No, absolutely not. And people who have been in cults are saying in the comments and, like, making videos like, guys, this needs to stop. This is actually how so-and-so cult started. And I had to, like, escape and all that shit. No. Have we not learned? Have we not learned from the history of how cults work? Oh my god, this is becoming like Scientology 2.0.
As the backlash grew, Gigi Jarvis tried to do some damage control. On July 17th, she posted a lengthy statement on TikTok apologizing for the hurt that she had caused. She said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that she intended the cult to be a fun, creative community, like a choose-your-own-adventure type game. She claimed that she didn't realize how harmful the word cult could be, and that she immediately ended the series when she learned about the impact. She also promised to use her platform to raise awareness for cult survivors and mental health.
Guys, we're going to be in the documentary about starting a cult soon. No, you guys are going to be in the documentary about cyberbullying a girl from rumors caused by groupthink and fear-mongering. I doubt you guys are even going to watch this video too, but I'm going to get into it and air all of you out. Cult is a bad word and you should have known better. Okay, well, I didn't, and the second I did get informed, I immediately changed everything to community because that's what it's always been. And if it's common sense, then why did 150,000 people also put the little emoji in their name tag?
But here's the problem. Her videos are still up, and the Children of the Waning Star community is still extremely active. Some fans aren't listening to her pivot to calling it a community instead of a cult. And this is where things get tricky. Even if Gigi's intentions were innocent, the lack of control over her followers' actions raises a bunch of red flags. Former cult survivors and experts have spoken out, warning that this kind of rhetoric can spiral into something dangerous very quickly. One TikTok user who claimed to be a cult survivor said that the group's behavior was deeply disturbing and pointed to the violent acts allegedly happening under the guise of this community.
But a lot of you are making comments saying that you were tricked and misinformed, and I believe you. like you were tricked into thinking this was a joke, or that being in a cult is cool or funny. A lot of you just wanted to be a part of something. A lot of you just wanted that sense of belonging, and who could fault you for that? That's human. So from one cult survivor to another, welcome to being a cult survivor. Now, cult survivors being judged, being shamed, being stigmatized, all of that is nothing new. Cult survivors face this every single day. The problem isn't you guys, the ones who were tricked and misinformed. The problem is a lack of education on what cults are. The problem is a lack of awareness of specific cult tactics. Cult mind control and manipulation is specifically designed to override your critical thinking. No one is immune to cults, no matter how smart you are. Another problem in this whole scenario is also the lack of empathy, and that is another thing that many cult survivors face, because a lot of people think that people that get recruited into cults are dumb, are stupid. It's so obvious. How didn't you know that? How did you not know that getting into something called a cult would have been a bad idea? All of this shame and blame and lack of empathy, and not realizing how gaslighting, manipulation, and cult mind control works. Now, I wasn't in your guys' cult. I'm actively sharing my cult survivor story on my page from the online cult that I was a part of, but I'm watching all of this go down, and I wanted to offer a hand of support and understanding and education to all of you CWS cult survivors who are currently navigating what to do now.
This whole situation reminded me very strongly and uncomfortably of another notorious creator who attempted to found a cult based on their social media following. This creator is Onision, who created his own religion named Sieska. With concerning similarities to Scientology, this community still has dedicated followers to this day. While I'm sure almost everybody has attempted to create some kind of exclusive little group, religion, club, you name it, with their friends during childhood, this little joke very quickly becomes concerning when it includes a dedicated fan base who will blindly follow the instructions and actions of a creator without a second thought. Think about it. How quickly would you adopt certain symbols and joking traditions if your favorite YouTuber or TikToker told you to? For example, if at the peak of the Dream SMP's fame, they coined and labeled a belief system for followers of their lore. We've already seen countless preteens adjusting their entire identity and sexuality to embrace aspects of the Dream SMP without a streamlined belief system. How long would it take for such a creator to switch up and start feeding harmful rhetoric along with these little community quirks? Certain members of the Dream SMP being cancelled for heinous actions did not stop these dedicated followers from supporting and copying them in their every move. When iDubbbz started using specific slurs as his catchphrase, it only took a few weeks for non-racist followers to pick up the ideology and start parroting them because they blindly trusted his statements about their impact. Hateful actions and behavior from stars such as PewDiePie became incredibly normalized and often overlooked due to their influence. Can you imagine how many thousands, if not millions of people that could be influenced into even more harmful beliefs and actions if they were normalized by an entire community? So let's get to the biggest question. Could the children of the waning star be predatory? To answer this, we need to look at what makes a group predatory or cult-like. According to the International Cultic Studies Association, cults often use tactics like psychological manipulation, isolating members from outside influences, and creating a strong sense of us versus them. While this TikTok group might not fit the traditional cult model, there are some concerning patterns. First, let's talk about Gigi Jarvis as a charismatic leader. She's an engaging influencer who gained nearly 150,000 followers in just 5 days by leaning into this cult narrative. This kind of rapid growth shows just how much influence she wields. While there's no evidence that she's directly encouraging harmful behavior, her initial framing of the group as a cult, even jokingly, created a space where vulnerable people, especially young TikTok users, might feel compelled to prove their loyalty to the group through extreme actions. Secondly, the group identity is strong. The emojis, the symbols and the usernames, and the shared language creates a sense of belonging. That's not inherently bad. A lot of fandoms do this. But when you combine that with the cult label and allegations of rituals for self-harm, it starts to look like a slippery slope. On Tumblr, a user pointed out that people are joining not to worship Gigi, but to be part of something bigger, which is exactly how cults often lure people in. Third, and this is the big one, there's the potential for manipulation. Even if Gigi didn't intend to create a harmful group, the lack of oversight and the viral nature of TikTok meant that bad actors could exploit this community. For example, posts on X and TikTok have claimed that some members are being encouraged to perform dangerous acts, like animal sacrifices or self-harm to prove their devotion. Again, these are unverified claims, but they highlight the risk of a leaderless, chaotic movement where impressionable people, especially teenagers, could be manipulated by peers or even outsiders. Think about the countless group chats and Discord groups for this cult. How easy would it be for a bad-meaning adult to infiltrate them and start posting about their own actions to please the leader? How quickly would the minors in these groups copy these actions to try and be a part of the group? It's sort of a peer pressure mentality where they need to constantly one-up or match each other's actions to be considered a part of the us. This isn't the first time that TikTok has seen so-called cults. Back in 2020, the New York Times covered the rise of TikTok cults like the Stip Chickens, where influencers rallied followers around quirky group identities. These were mostly harmless, but they set a precedent for how quickly trends can escalate on the platform. The Children of the Waning Star takes it to another level by explicitly using the word cult, which is inherently loaded and risky. TikTok's algorithm does not help. It thrives on engagement, so controversial or shocking content like videos about a cult get pushed to more users. This creates a feedback loop where the group grows faster and faster and stakes get higher and higher. Combine that with TikTok's young user base and you've got a recipe for potential harm. So where do we go from here? Platforms like TikTok have a duty to monitor content that could lead to harm, especially when it involves young users. Gigi needs to be more proactive. Her apology was a start, but leaving the videos up and not actively shutting down the cult narrative sends mixed signals. She could use her platform to educate her followers about the dangers of cults and redirect the community towards something positive, like mental health advocacy, as she promised. Finally, we as users need to be critical of what we engage with. If you see something on TikTok that feels off, don't just scroll past. Report it. And if you're worried about a friend or family member getting caught up in something like this, have an open conversation with them. Cults thrive on isolation, and staying connected is the key. The Children of the Waning Star is a fascinating case study in how fast things can spiral online. What started as a joke has become a lightning rod for controversy, raising serious questions about influence, responsibility, and the line between fun and danger. While there's no evidence that Gigi Jarvis directly intended to create such a predatory group, the lack of control and the disturbing allegations show just how easily things can get out of hand. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you seen Children of the Waning Star on your For You page? Do you think it's just a harmless trend, or is there something more sinister going on? And if you want to dive deeper, check out the resources linked in the description for more context. In my personal opinion, I don't think there was any ill will behind the creation of this quote-unquote cult. I don't think Gigi nor any of the followers intended it to end this way. But when you create a community such as this one, where people are willing to follow each other, one-up each other, do really drastic things in order to make the cult seem scary or edgy or different, and there is no one controlled basis for where everybody is supposed to congregate and communicate, you are going to end up with Discord servers, with private messaging groups, with private hashtags on Twitter or other platforms where things get extremely out of hand. Once one person starts posting really crazy self-harm, attention-seeking acts, other members are absolutely going to follow and try and capture that lightning in a bottle, that immediate fame and backlash, the views that they would get on TikTok for doing such acts. It's just an endless cycle of people trying to be different, trying to be better, trying to be scarier. And I do definitely believe that there was an original intention of being edgy, being scary, being different, trying to create some kind of alternative and uncomfortable community that would make people feel special for being a part of it, make other people feel different and weird for not being involved. And if the stakes for being involved are posting weird, concerning, and edgy content on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, people are absolutely going to do it. Minors are absolutely going to do this type of thing to be involved in what they see as an exclusive and cool group. With all of that being said, thank you for watching. I know I sound weird today. I am so sorry, guys. I'm extremely sick. I have a respiratory infection, and honestly, at this point, I'm wishing it was COVID because I'm miserable. There's nothing I can really do about it. Can't go to the doctor, and there's no medication I can take, so I'm just sitting here sounding like...
I need some alone time. How about the whole day?
I will see you guys in the next video.